much about Jesus and God. And I was just thinking, like, I watched this video the other day of, the most common argument against being a Christian is how can a good God allow all these bad things to happen? That's what the video is about. And I just had this thought, like that video is so absolutely right, and I'll have to find the creator, and when I can find him, I'll put him in the caption or in the comments. But the video was so right, because think about it, like, first of all, you're assuming that everybody is good. There's not a single fully good person on this earth. All of us have something. All of us made mistakes or flaws. Like, we all have something. Nobody is perfect. There's not a single truly good person on this earth. That's number one. That does not mean that people deserve bad things to happen to them or anything. But we don't get to decide what's good and what's bad. Who made you the judge of goodness or of badness? You know what I mean? The Bible says we all fall short of the glory of God. So you're not the judge of what's considered a good or a bad situation. I mean, because what's good to you can be absolutely horrendous for somebody else. What's bad for you can be good to somebody else. And that is why human beings cannot be trusted to be the judge of what's good or evil. And we're not, because we're so volatile and we all have differing opinions. So we don't get to be the judge and get to decide what's good or what's bad. For example, we might, obviously most people think is bad, but in that person's eyes, there's excuse after excuse, they think it's fine. They, find reason for it to be okay. They find reason in their brain for it to maybe even be good. So that's why we don't get to be the judge of that. Because inherently, in some capacity, one way or another, none of us are perfect at all. So why do we, imperfect people, get to determine what's good? You don't know if that situation that occurred to that quote-unquote good person is good or bad. The only person who could determine fully if that situation was good or bad for that person is God, because he has eyes and can see how this truly affects this person. He can see their thoughts, he can see their feelings, he can look at the entirety, like the entire timeline of their life, and see if ultimately this, what would be a bad situation in our eyes, is, good or bad. Only he has the eyes to see that, though. Like, you don't have the viewpoint. You don't have the viewpoint. And sometimes you could be the person living through that bad situation, and you could just not even, it could just pass. It's like, when people are like, think about, like, I don't want to say, somebody who's going through a bad situation is spoiled or anything, but think about all those people in the world who have so much, but they just don't even realize it. You know what I mean? Like, the scales are in front of their eyes, and their lives are actually so blessed and so good, but they can't see it. It's kind of like that for a person who might be living through a bad situation. Sometimes you're living through it, but you can't even see the potential for there to be a silver lining, or you can't even see the potential for there to be some sort of good when you look at the full picture. But only God has such a viewpoint of viewing such a full picture like that. I think humans, we are just so finite in our lives. I mean, think about all the cars on the road. These are all people with their own complicated lives. You can barely comprehend your own. You can barely comprehend people around you's life. Like, you can only get so many lives in your head, let alone everyone's. Like, you can't see how such and such situation interconnects with some random person's situation over here. Like, we just don't have that viewpoint. Our viewpoint is so finite. That is why we don't get to be the judge of whether or not a situation is good or bad, because our view is finite. Biologically, physically finite. We can only take in and consider so much information. And so it's a really shallow and weird argument to say, how can bad things happen to good people? How is a good God? Because he's the judge of what's good. Because he's the judge. And when you stop allowing yourself to carry so much pride that you believe that your finite point of view is greater than God, like literally his entire point of view of the whole earth and then some, the most deadliest sin is pride. And the Lord has been showing it to me myself. He has been literally exposing the pride and how I think everything is about me. You guys, that is the deadliest sin, and that is a sin that we all struggle with in this generation so much, especially with the increase of social media. It's freaking pride, bro. Pride to believe that our viewpoint of the world is correct. Pride to believe that our viewpoint of the spiritual realm is correct. Pride to believe that we can be the judge of what's good and bad. You guys, you're this big, bro. You're literally this big. You're literally this big. Like, even the richest people on the earth that run the whole freaking world are literally this big. You could do all such and such a watch. You're this big, bro. You will never be able to see the entirety, of the world's viewpoint. You know what I mean? We'll never be able to. We'll never be able to be God. Never. We'll never have God's viewpoint. Ever. I don't just mean physically. I mean being able to see through hearts and minds, people's exact thoughts. We'll just never, and how those lives interconnect. We'll never have the capability to do that. We're not God, bro. And if we do, it's fake and it's false. It's fake, it's false. If for some reason if the technology somehow got that way, we're trying so hard to be God, but we're not. Pride. You know what I mean? It's your pride. I urge you to allow God to be in control. Allow God to determine what is good and what is bad. Stop trying to carry that weight on your shoulders. Stop trying to be God. You literally can't. You physically can't. You literally can't. You don't get to decide. You just don't. Release control. You already don't have it. You just think you do. Society has a really good way of making us feel secure about things. When really, everything could collapse at any moment. It's all up to God. God is the only thing and the only one fully and truly in complete and utter control. So why are you pretending? Why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you trying to be him when you could just trust in him? When you could just follow his word? When you could just give your struggles and your issues to him and allow him to do what he needs to do in your life? instead of trying to take on the control that you think you have and stressing yourself out. You were literally not built to do that, bro. This is why people have heart attacks and have to and be stressing out and stuff, because you're trying so hard to have everything under control in your life when you're never really in control. It could literally fall at any point, like everything. You could literally lose everything at any point. You know what you can't lose no matter what, though, is God. God's love for you literally never goes away. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing anybody could do that could keep God's love that could keep you from being loved by God. God will quite literally always love you. He will always love you. He will not tolerate your sin, though. That's the thing. If you keep sinning and you get to God and you're like, oh, God loves me, God's going to be like, I love you, but I'm sorry. You are still sinning and you didn't accept the gift of freedom from sin. So I love you, but I have to let you go. And we all know a person like that in our lives. You love them, but you have to let them go. You have to let them do what they have to do over there. Yeah, that's what hell is. So it's just separation from God, because God's not going to continue to tolerate your sin against him. If somebody cheated on you back to back to back to back to back, you want them to, want to, let them sleep in your house forever? No, bro. But we expect the same thing from God and call him a horrible person when he separates himself from us. We ask for it. You cheated on him your entire life through death. What do you expect from man? I love you so much, but I have to let you go. I don't know, guys. I'm just ranting. Musings of a Christian girl. But I just think about this stuff a lot. Like when I drive, we have to let God be in control. I just think that we're so propped up on earth. Like we just think that we're very arrogant. We're very arrogant, and we feel like we have security. But the true and only security in our entire lives will be God. That is it. That is the true and only security. They can do anything. They can even take our very physical lives. They cannot take our faith from us. They cannot take God away from us. That is the only secure thing, is God. So I urge you to allow God to be in control of your life. Stop trying to cling on to it. Let him take it. Surrender it. Surrender it to him and trust him. Even when it seems crazy, even when it seems bad, just trust him, because he has a greater viewpoint than you do. It's gonna seem crazy, it might seem bad, but he knows, and you have to just you have to trust him. You just have to trust him. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.